Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm here on the channel learning to play the violin again after walking away from music 25 years ago. I recently completed my first 6 months of playing, and I kept a diary of the ups and downs that came with the experience. Today, I'll be talking about the pain, actual physical pain, the anguish, and the occasional sense of regret that happened while looking back on my life during my teens and early 20s, along with some of the music that I played during the last few months. May 18th, 2021. Last week, in the middle of the night, I sat up with a searing pain in my left shoulder. When I rolled or tried to breathe, the pain tore through my left side. I sat up. The man of the house opened one eye and asked what I was doing. Well, I told him, it's either the violin or it's some kind of cardiac thing. It's the violin, he said. It's a torture instrument. He closed his eye. Well, I took some aspirin and tried to sleep, but the next day, the pain on that left side roared back in the late afternoon. I decided to go to urgent care. Once there, the staff ran the full battery of testing to check for a cardiac event. After all, I'm only 7 years younger than my father was when he was killed by a heart attack. It wasn't the heart, though, as it turned out. Nope, it was the violin. The doctor, a young, cheerful man who pirouetted from one patient to the next like a dancer, told me that I should stop playing the violin. And, well, I have to tell you, I've heard it before. In fact, the pain was part of the reason I quit the first time. When I was still in my 20s, that hard torque on the left arm pulled the muscles off my chest wall. Between that level of pain and an energy-zapping battle to survive in the workplace, I had to quit playing. You'll either have to quit, the doctor said, or learn to live with this pain. Well, I'm going to negotiate with it. I will limit practice sessions. I will put time between the days that I practice. I will ice down every part of me that could get ripped loose during practice. I'm not going to get my violin back just to have it ripped away again. This is mine. One other thing, the fact that my muscles have started ripping away from the chest wall, that means I'm doing it right. May 25th, 2021. After getting knocked off my horse and sitting out for a few days, I jumped back on that horse to get a song uploaded for the weekend. And you know what? I could play. I could really play. I spent 5 days away from the violin, and those neural pathways worked their magic. Smooth bow, resonant tone, absolute confidence with finger strike. I cut 3 new songs, 2 for a Bach medley because I'm worried about getting behind on my calendar, and Pomp and Circumstance for YouTube Shorts. My arms, my shoulders, my back, they only hurt a little when I was done. 2 days later, I came back to take another run through the Tchaikovsky. You know what? It sounded great. There wasn't a glitch in the piece. I'll shoot it tomorrow, and then I'll move on to the Cacciatorian. Here's one of the pieces I played by Bach during that period. When I played it, I felt that sense of the music of the spheres kick in. I ended up playing it faster than you'll hear in a lot of recordings, but I felt like the tempo was driving me to reach into the mysticism of the piece. June 20th, 2021. I've been really prickly lately, thinking about my career, that is, my newspaper career. I'm still stuck in the relentless reflection of the lockdown, wondering for the first time if I turned my back on the wrong talent. I mean, sure, the newspaper industry collapsed and very few people survived, but you know what? I did everything right. All that practice and precision I didn't put into the violin, I put it into writing and reporting. And I didn't stop with the fundamentals. I learned statistics, data analysis, spatial analysis. I pioneered a form of grid analysis to map variables behind the decline of a city. Then it occurred to me, if I'd put in all this work as a violinist, I would still be playing. I wouldn't be haunting the margins. Most likely, I'd still be playing premier venues. Here's the big question that's haunting me. When I put away the violin, did I throw away something of real value? It's a big question, and it's enough to make anyone cranky. July 14th, 2021. I've noticed since I've attained a basic level of competence that I'm not as interested in playing anymore. I'm 6 months in, and I'm not jumping in with quite as much hunger. I had scrupulously practiced and videotaped and kept 6 weeks worth of material in the can. Now I'm down to 2 weeks. I've wrapped up the Russian waltzes, the structure I adopted to get me through the early summer. I'm not sure where to go now. I guess that's the benefit of having worked with a teacher. The teacher always has a plan for you. This feeling reminds me of the old days when the violin was this pernicious thing that was always nagging at me in the background. No matter what I accomplished during the day, practice time was always waiting. Practice, the task that was nearly always neglected. There it was, pushing at me every minute of every day. If anything, feeling that nagging guilt over neglecting the violin gives me a sense that my life is back to normal, that I've recovered the wholeness of a life that included the violin. The guilt, I think that's partially why I quit too. When I had an employer that set deadlines that required me to work 60 to 80 hours a week, everything that wasn't essential in my life had to go, including the violin. I could feel resentful about it, but in truth, it was easier to quit playing than I had ever thought it might be. Right now, after 6 months of writing and playing and dragging my psyche through the world of my teens and 20s, I'm feeling tired to the marrow. Maybe I need a break. Here's how I wrapped up this period with a moment of reflection from the Star Wars suite.